Welcome to another episode of the Archery Round Table, brought to you by the following sponsors. Barn Burner Custom Strings, where champions find a way. B3 Archery, built the best, by the best, for the best. Base Camp Country Real Estate, more than just dirt, it's a lifestyle. Enjoy the episode.
That's Rex Barnes.
Hello, Mr. Barnes.
So have you been shed hunting yet? Do you shed hunt?
Yeah, I shed hunt some. Do a little bit of it, not a whole lot, but this last weekend, me and my buddy Tyler went and walked around my farm, walked around his farm, and I don't know, walked probably 3 miles and just never found anything.
Yeah, I haven't really found anything. My brother-in-law found a big shed, I don't know, 2 weeks ago at this point, but I haven't found anything yet.
Yeah, I think it's still...
I mean, I've still got trail cam pictures of them holding.
That's what I was going to say. Some people will disagree with me, but I still think it's early right now. So
I do too. But they only last, really a couple weeks in the woods before squirrels eat them up, so you got to be out there when they drop.
You got to be out there shooting your squirrels.
No, I don't.
In August.
15th.
I think we're a few days away from squirrel season, friend.
You got to shoot them before they drop.
Oh, you're saying limit the squirrel population.
Yeah, beforehand.
I guess.
Speaking of getting in trouble with the DNR, did you see that on Facebook? The guy shed hunt and found a deadhead and apparently got a ticket for not tagging it.
I didn't see that, but I know people who have gotten in trouble for it. A lot of people don't know it, but you do have to actually, even if you find a deadhead that, it's in July, you have to technically get a tag before you can take it.
Right, remove it before you can remove it from the property.
Yeah.
As long as the antler is attached to the skull. The
Yep.
guy said it. Somebody asked him on there if he got a ticket or it taken away, and he said both. But he said they said that he'll get it back, but the antlers will not be attached to the skull.
I don't know how that
So I'm
works,
reading
but-
the rule right here. The presence of a skull with the antlers identifies that a deer has died. Pretty obvious. Our interest is in what caused the mortality of the deer and the circumstances surrounding it. Therefore, a permit is required to allow for investigation if needed. So I get it. I mean, some random deer's dead in the field.
I mean,
With
there's
the coronavirus running rampant in deer. I mean, what is that? What is it?
Chronic wasting
Chronic
disease.
wasting, CWD.
EHD or
Yeah.
CWE.
Coronavirus wasting disease.
Yeah. So I get it where they would want you to, look into it and make sure that it's
Well,
not some type
but
of
It's
outbreak.
also, what's stopping somebody from poaching one in deer season, burying the head or hanging it in the tree for a couple months until the,
oh yeah,
all the hair's gone, and then pulling it and saying, "Hey, I found this deadhead." Oh no, you poached that during the season, right?
I mean, anything
So-
can happen. Yeah.
But I knew you needed a ticket or a tag if you were going to take it from like a hit by car or highway or something
Yeah.
like that. But it's surprising to see that they're, enforcing it versus just educating. But I guess
I wonder how many tickets are given out every year for that.
I wonder. I also heard on there. I mean, everybody's a genius and expert on Facebook, right? But
Oh, yeah.
But a guy on there said the only way you're going to get a ticket is if there was some underlining shadiness that you haven't said about on this post. Because if you're straightforward with it, the DNR is not going to give you a ticket for that. So I don't know.
Interesting. So this guy got a ticket. Where was he at?
Fayette County, he said.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, it's a law.
Yeah.
My buddy
Whether
up
we think
in,
it's a good one or not is irrelevant. But
my buddy up in Muncie, his name's Carlos, probably 10, 11, 12 years ago, somewhere around there. He was shed hunting around his house, and he walked down this creek bed and found a deadhead. And he didn't really know a whole lot about deer at the time. He knew it was a good-sized deer, but took it back to the house
Yeah.
and called the DNR officer, not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, hey, come look at this or something. And This was
Come
like,
look what I
this
found.
was like a couple weeks after the fact that he'd already found it, and the DNR officer showed up and, I mean, about wrote him a ticket and took it away and everything else. And then he was probably 14, 15 at the time.
He's young.
Yeah, he's a young guy. So he got educated on it. The guy
Yeah.
didn't give him a ticket, but wrote him a tag for it legally, because the DNR officer knew what it was or
Yeah.
how big it was.
Yeah.
He actually went and got it scored, and it scored like 217 something.
So it was huge.
Giant, yeah. It's like top 5, I think, deadheads in Indiana ever found.
Wow.
I've had it in
Well-
my hands. It's impressive. It's on plaque and it has a big tag.
That's what she said. But that's the other thing with this deadhead was it was
Pretty big.
significant. It was like a 15-pointer or something. So I don't know. Do they only enforce it on giant deer?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah, the chances are likely that there's some type of backstory. Your huge deer typically aren't found just randomly dead laying in rivers.
No, typically
know.
not.
So if a 250-inch deer shows up in the middle of a cornfield dead, chances are it was shot, and poached, or
Hit by a car.
hit by. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's much more likely that a spike or little 4-pointer is going to be there, and we don't need to investigate that to make sure there's no backstory. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
For sure. So, I guess before we get further, we should start our podcast
Sure.
officially. So,
I like it.
Welcome to another edition or another episode of the Archery Round Table. I'm Rusty Miller. That's Matt Jacobs, and we are your host. And we got a special guest today, a known pro professional, ASA, Hunter Phillips. He's also a production manager here at
Sound manager.
Yeah, sound manager, production manager.
Production
No,
manager.
he's on the podcast. The sound manager. I know, but we got to give him credit for the. If you listen to the intro,
He's also our narrator, our Waylon Jennings to our Dukes of Hazzard.
we've
here.
had several women write in asking whose voice is that, and we wanted to put a face and the name together.
Yeah.
I think it downgrades it when you put a face with it, but you got a
He's got a
face
face
for
for
radio.
I got a good face for radio. Pick the guitar and do some talking and some singing, and
Yeah.
it's hard to.
Are you working on our theme song?
Yeah, theme song's come along. It's kind of been put on hold.
Give us a little sample of it.
There's no sample of it.
No,
he's got the chords written on his
Yeah.
guitar. I've heard it. It's pretty cool. But
I'm pretty sure it's the same
The words-
song I've heard several times
Prob-
from other people. But
no, you don't listen to country. You
No.
don't know it.
yeah. So real quickly, tell us who you are, what you do, archery, when you got started. Just quick little synopsis of yourself.
Well, Hunter Phillips. I am the production manager at Barn Burner Custom Strings.
Where champions find a way.
Where champions find a way. And
Except for at Foley.
except for Foley, yeah, there were some mishaps there, but yeah. So I build
I
strings
bet it
every day.
involved equipment.
Yeah, I'm not.
Not
one
the
to-
strings, though.
No, strings, flawless. Couldn't have been better. But, no, I'm not one to blame stuff on equipment, but there actually was a little mishap on day 2. But I started shooting archery really before I remember. My dad, there's pictures of it where I'm running around the yard with one of those, I think they're those old Bear,
Yeah.
they're the green, like, fiberglass ones.
Yep.
I was probably 3, 4
Did you have
running
that
around shooting.
killer beard then, too?
Yeah, I had this. Actually, I came out with this.
Nice.
Yeah, I was born with this. I just never shaved it off because I was so proud of it. But, yeah, so I've been shooting for a long time. Got into tournament archery to get better at deer hunting because when I first started deer hunting with a bow, there's about a 2 or 3 year period there where it was a rough go around. A lot of lost, broken arrows and a lot of saplings cut in half. And so I was probably 8.
You were just flinging, huh?
Yeah, I was probably 8 or 9 at this point, and my dad took me to a 3D tournament, just to get better at hunting, and kind of took off from there. Got a lot better at deer hunting, and figured out I really like competitive archery. So
you've been shooting since you were like 8 in archery tournaments and
yeah,
stuff?
yeah. So I mean, like really competitive, like going to IBOs, like national stages and stuff like that setting, probably 12. Because I started
So you're how old now? 24?
24, yeah.
24, so 12 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been shooting tournament archery for probably 12 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you shoot ASA known pro.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot IBO open pro.
Yep.
'Cause now they just did with known. They just got known classes. Is that right? Or speed limit.
It's kind of like a second. It's kind of like having 2 tournaments at an IBO now. So
Okay.
they have, it's more like a field round. They have these targets. They're like, I didn't shoot it, but they're kind of like foam cubes with a little bitty, like they have different size rings on them, and each ring is worth a different score.
Kind of like paper behind your
It's-
head.
Yeah, pretty much, but except it's on a foam target out in the field or the woods, and you go shoot at it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I shoot IBO, Open Pro, ASA Gnome Pro,
And then pro in the indoor circuit.
yeah,
and-
pro indoor stuff.
So you went to Lancaster.
Yep.
This was your first year in pro
First-
shooting Lancaster,
First year shooting Lancaster, period.
and we went right to the pro.
Went right to the pro class.
Oh man,
Shot actually surprisingly good on the first 30 arrows, but second 30 arrows not so hot. But
okay.
but
Seeing a pattern.
I
there.
was getting ready to say I want to see where this goes.
yeah, I mean,
Second day, second set.
well, it's not. There's at Lancaster. There's not 2 days. You shoot them all
Yeah,
at
I
once.
said second set.
Second set, yeah, there you go. But I shot 25 supers in the first 30 arrows, which, I mean, that's the bottom of the pack for the top 64.
Yeah, but you'll still make
But
it.
still make it to the top 64 shoot off. And then I think the second half I shot, I shot 311 on the last 30 arrows. So
That's not gonna get it done.
definitely not going to get it done.
No, not
I
even
wouldn't
if
have got
you
it done
clean
in
the
the
first
Cub
half.
class. So
Yeah.
you'll have that.
But first year,
First
probably
year.
got some great experience.
Yep, did. Learned some stuff. Learned.
Can't miss. I'm sure you
can't.
learned that.
Definitely can't miss. I knew that a long time ago from shooting paper, but just
I
keeps
promise
driving
you
me.
can miss.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, I can miss.
I'm a professional at missing. If I'm a professional at anything, but yeah. So I learned a lot of stuff there.
And then we went to Lancaster,
Yep.
then just got back from Foley.
Got back from Foley.
This will be your second year shooting ASA Pro.
Mm-hmm.
You, if I remember correctly, you shot known 40 at Foley last year.
Yeah, last year started known 40.
Did pretty good.
Yeah, I did really good.
Then went to known 50
Yep.
and said, screw it, I'm going to chuck it. And you went all the way to known pro.
Went and played with the big dogs.
I mean, I guess if you're going to do it, let's go all in.
I mean, I know I have the ability to compete with the guys in known pro. It's just anybody can. I don't know about anybody, but a lot of people can stand in their range at their house or outside and shoot really high scores that are as high or higher than people shooting at known pro at the tournament. But learning how to win is the bigger part of actually making it happen. At a
Sure,
tournament.
that makes a ton of sense. What's your best finish as of right now?
And known pro,
Known pro.
I honestly think Foley is my best finish.
Foley this year?
This year, I didn't even look. It wasn't in the top 5 in the shoot off, so I really didn't care.
It doesn't matter at that point.
Didn't matter. So
have you? I think this is interesting. A lot of people might like to hear this. What is the one thing that you have said to yourself, like, "Oh man, I would have never guessed," or "Man, this is tough," or that one thing you're like, it's totally different about the pro class than any other archery class you've shot?
at an ASA tournament, I would say the biggest thing that I didn't really expect is the way people act on the range.
And elaborate on that. What do you mean?
Are they laid back or are they uptight?
Most of them are pretty laid back, really. I mean, it's just a bunch of hillbillies out there shooting their bows that are good at it.
I mean, at the end of the day,
That's
that's all
really
we
all
all
it is.
are.
They're
It's
just
a bunch
good
of
at it.
hillbillies shooting a bow. But
And, I mean, they, Jacob Marlowe's the biggest goofball on the range, pretty much. They're always just hooping and hollering on the range, having a good time. And
so it's not super quiet. Everybody's.
no, it's not like, like a golf tournament where
Yeah.
it's like, holding up signs like silent. No, it's nothing like that.
So tell me this, and you might be able to relate to this. when I first started, I don't remember what class I started in, B maybe, but everybody was extremely uptight, hypersensitive to noise apparently, couldn't talk when somebody was at full draw. If we were 2 stakes over or in the middle of the trail, got into known 45, noticed it was similar but a little bit more relaxed, then went to known 50 2 years ago, and it was very much more relaxed. People didn't care if you were talking. Do you notice that trend too, that the higher the class you go, the less people are concerned with where
Definitely.
everybody is and what they're doing?
Because like I remember when I was in known 40, the one shoot I shot in known 40, the 2 groups that I shot with both days were actually both groups were fine, but they were more like you could tell that when they made a bad shot, it got to them. Like they wouldn't talk for a couple targets, and normally their score showed because those next few targets, when they were still thinking about the bad shot that they made 2 or 3 targets ago, they still weren't hitting 12s.
Them more.
Yeah, it's affecting them. And I think that's where you get up into, you're like your K50, semi-pro, known pro classes where you're going to make bad shots. It don't matter how good you are. Levi Morgan makes bad shots. It don't matter.
You watch your mouth.
We've seen everybody does it. Levi Morgan would tell you that he will make a bad shot every once in a while, and sometimes it hits good still, and sometimes it doesn't. But I think when you get up to that level, everybody understands that you're gonna. Sometimes you're not gonna win them all, and just make the next shot better than the last one. Forget about the last one because it doesn't matter. It's already gone.
Yeah, nothing you can do about it.
No.
Let me ask you this. I like asking pros this. Since you've shot recently in non-pro classes, is the scoring in pro classes more relaxed than the scoring in lower classes? Because I've seen some arrows that have been called, very questionable.
Well,
but I can see where they're coming from.
Well,
and then lower classes are like, nope, not a chance.
Yeah, lower classes I think are more because they want to. I don't know.
And what I think it is a definition of the rule is being not altered, but interpreted. Yes, great. Interpreted differently. What?
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Interpreted differently by these guys versus these guys who've been doing it for so long.
Well, in your K40, K45, I feel like some of those people, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them people I feel like most people were pretty fair on scoring, especially when I was in K50. Everybody seemed, it was pretty much the same as what it is in known pro, I feel like. But I've seen some people like at local tournaments and that type of stuff where, like you'll be barely touching the line and like I would call it in and then, they're like out and, you might have 10 other people look at it and like, oh, that's in, no problem. Yeah. But, you get, if you're in a group of 4 shooters and you have 2 of them that are like that, your score is going to hurt that day. And, I feel when you go, your known pro guys, they want everyone to do good. They want you to do good, and I feel like they're giving the benefit to the shooter. Like if it's a questionable shot, like, we're going to give it to you if it's that close.
And that's what I've always said when we start scoring. Say, look, I'll score, no problem. I'm a fair score caller, but I'm just going to tell you, if it is so close that we have to work to call you out, it's going to be called in.
Yeah.
Because the next group down the range is doing it, and the next group down the range is doing it. I'm not going to be giving away points because we want to sit there, turn targets upside down, turn lights on. It's not worth it.
No.
The other thing, so since you're new into pro, did you walk on, would have been, Texas last year was your first pro, or London? Where'd you shoot last year first? Because you shot known 45 and or known 40 in Foley.
Yep.
And then Fort Benning would have been?
That was K50.
K50. Then this year we go to Texas. So I don't know if that was the third or there was another one. So anyways, whatever it was, did you walk on the range and was like, oh my gosh, were you worried about who was going to be in your group? Because there's some big names, obviously.
Yeah.
Chance and Nathan Brooks was shooting it last year.
I shot with Nathan Brooks pretty much every one of them at some point.
You?
Yeah.
But did you walk on there and like, oh my gosh, I have to shoot with him? Like,
no, not really. It was more like my mindset.
Because I remember the story you came home and told us. You were like, you were almost in tears happy. Because you got to shoot with a certain somebody.
I don't remember who it was.
Tyler Sweat.
Oh yeah, Tyler Sweat. That was at I remember what the range. Augusta. That's where I shot my first non-pro.
Yes, it was Augusta.
Augusta. And yeah, the day 2 I got to shoot with Tyler Sweat.
You guys are buddies now, right?
Yeah, we were buddies beforehand.
Oh,
but yeah, we go down there and go deer hunting with him sometimes. But I can't remember who I shot with on that first day.
I remember you said, did you shoot with Slosher?
No,
Or,
he wasn't
no, it
there.
was,
I shot with Stefan Hansen, Bridger
Stefan
Deaton,
Hansen.
and Tyler on day 2.
Okay.
But
I don't remember who you were.
I don't remember who I was with on the first day either. But no, I didn't really get that. I looked at it as more. I mean, yeah, obviously you're standing there. I mean, my first arrow at every ASA is like
They're the hardest, aren't they?
it's always the hardest. And my last arrows normally, I think every scoring round at an ASA, my last arrow's always been a 12.
Really?
Yeah. So
Just the focus or what? Just
yeah,
relaxed by that
I think
point?
I think it on my last arrow I'm focused so much like I'm gonna get this, like I'm gonna hit this last 12. Just wherever I'm at, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna give myself a 2-point boost. And
Makes sense. So, let's talk Foley.
okay,
First day, we were watching.
first day was awesome.
Saw your name on the leaderboard, but that felt good.
It did feel good. I was like a little kid in a candy store running around there looking at that board.
I was getting text messages. Look at the leaderboard. Look at the leaderboard.
yeah, so that was the first time I ever made it on there. Like after 10 targets, I was tied with like, I don't know, 7 or 8 people probably for second, something like that. And then at 15, I think I was in 5th with a couple guys. And then by the end of the 20 target round, I think I was sitting at 7th.
So you were right there.
Yeah, I was definitely in it. I hit the right number of 12s. I hit half the 12s on the first day, and just had a couple there right at the end that were so close. They were either at 12 or they were an 8, and
Yeah.
I got the 8 call instead of the 12 on the last.
So a few calls your way, and you're sitting in
Oh,
top 5.
Yeah, a few arrow calls and there at the end, and I was sitting in top 2 or 3.
Nice.
But
And then day 2 rolled around.
yeah, day 2 rolled around.
What'd you do with your bow overnight, man? Did you spike it?
I didn't spike it.
Must have been that Tyler Sweat moving stuff.
I think Tyler Sweat got a little scared of me. Maybe Drew Kenny.
Yeah, I was going to say, who'd you stay with, Drew?
Yeah, I stayed with Drew
Because they're
Kenny.
both competing with you.
Yeah, all 3 of us. No,
Did you pass out first so they messed with your bow while you're sleeping?
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it would have had to have been Tyler Sweat because me and
Putting
Drew
him on blast on this podcast.
me and Drew actually went for a nice romantic walk on the beach.
I heard you guys went on like a 2-mile walk.
Oh, it was longer than that. We went a long ways, just enjoying the night air at about, I don't know, 9 o'clock at night and Gulf Shores. It was a very good time, very romantic.
Wasn't it freezing?
Oh, yeah, it was colder than I'll get out.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Different podcast, different show.
Archery Round Table after dark.
All right, so you go to day 2.
Yep.
You kick butt on day 1. You're feeling pretty good.
Yep.
And then kind of
The wheels didn't fall off.
Did you?
the wheels were humming.
They were.
I mean, they were.
They were off balance.
We got a little speed wobble going.
Yeah, there was some speed wobble going on, but I still hit, I think 7 12s on day 2,
So what was that? 17 for the weekend?
something like
What is that? 34 up?
Yeah, which is that would make the shoot off if I
Well,
didn't have any 8s.
He had some mates.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
8s.
but that's one good thing, as
yeah,
as a shooter and knowing that's what I'd take away from it. I shot enough 12s to make the shoot off.
Yeah.
Now I just need to polish up on a few of the errors.
and I mean even the errors that I had weren't bad errors.
We've been kind of dancing around it. So you did have some malfunction with your bow equipment. Tell us about that. What happened? How'd you find it and all that?
So I'm not one to blame equipment for a bad performance.
You're telling me, wait,
But
be the only archer on earth.
I know because I see a ton of people do it, and I don't like it when it happens unless there is valid evidence that it actually did happen, such as, like if you're shooting and your veins fall off your arrow or something and you blank a target, something like that, something obvious. But day 2, I kept hitting over all the 12s. I shoot at the lower, so I didn't get hurt real bad, and that's why my score didn't really go up, but it didn't really go down.
Didn't suffer too bad.
I mean, I think I ended up shooting 6 up or something. So there was a couple where I did shoot 8s on day 2. But so I kept hitting over everything, and I'd cut yardage off. I was about yard hot at like 43, 45 yards. And then on a couple at 50 yards, I really went over. I mean,
That distance, a yard and a half. That's
a yard and a half.
I mean,
is,
you're talking
from
6-7 inches.
bottom of
Probably.
the 10 ring to the top of the 10 ring.
Yeah, that's five.
Bottom,
What is that? 5 inches.
Yeah, aiming at the bottom, hitting the
Especially
upper.
with your draw length and
Yeah, a little
speed that
bitty
you go,
arms.
yeah.
So, but
got to be this tall to be in the pro class.
yeah, barely made it.
He had to put
He's gotta-
newspaper in his boots to get there.
Yeah, but so I couldn't figure out why I was hitting over them, and I thought it was. I've had this problem in the past where when I get under pressure, I'll kind of aim conservatively on the top of the 12, and or add a quarter yard depending on the distance, half yard sometimes, and I figured that's just what it was. But I got back to Tyler Sweat's house actually, and shot it through paper Monday morning, and I shot it. I didn't really look at it too close through the paper. Didn't think anything about it. Just shot one arrow and put my bow up, and then drove back home. And then 2 days later, Tyler called me, and he's like, "Hey man, you might want to shoot that bow through paper because I was looking at this bullet hole, or it wasn't a bullet hole, but the arrow that you shot through paper." And he's like, "It's got a really bad low tear in it." And I was like, "Oh, well, it should be fine. I haven't touched anything. It was fine when I left." So I set up paper and shot through it, and sure enough, it was a big old low tear. And then I marked everything. Like this year I was probably more prepared than I ever have been for anything. As much time as I've put behind the bow, as many arrows as I've shot, made sure everything was marked. That way I could look at it and just tell instantly if something was wrong, something moved. And sure enough, my arrow rest had moved up about an 1/8 inch.
Really worked. You should have, checked that on target 3 instead of the next day at home.
Yeah, I'm not used to having that stuff marked, so that wasn't really what I was
That's
thinking. So
Well, it sucks. It happens. It happens to all of us.
So you fixed your height on your rest, and it went right back to shooting great.
yep, went right back to shooting good because when I got back, I was having trouble on paper. I kept blowing out the top, which made me think that, after looking back on it, after I figured out what it was, that if I did have, not a perfect shot or something, it was causing probably my veins to hit my rest, which would cause it to go way high. So moved it back to where it was supposed to be, and scores went right back to where they were beforehand.
It's a nice learning lesson.
Yep, very good learning lesson.
So you're going to check that mark in the future?
Yeah, I'm probably going to check it on about every target.
Might as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's there. Why not look at it?
Yeah.
So,
So now, let's see, where are we going next? Fort Benning.
Fort Benning.
I've been watching you shoot in the shop. On occasion, shoot pretty good scores. I think you shot 29x yesterday.
Yep.
Is this target here with the one?
Actually, yeah, it's that target right there.
This one right here.
I wasn't going to say that it was a 299-29, but
I mean,
will.
I'm big enough to own up to it. I mean,
It
I've
happens.
I've shot 329s, 330s before, but I don't care who you are. You're going to occasionally blow one out the bottom side.
no, I can
left.
promise you right now there is not a soul on earth that averages a 300. You can't.
I mean,
You can't.
no, it's hard. But
It's impossible.
It's very hard because if you miss one out, you take
You're
it.
done, and you'll never average 300 again.
No, so
So we're going to Fort Benning. Have you changed anything with your setup or your mindset or your game plan?
yeah, we've changed a lot of things actually.
Oh, yeah.
So before at Foley, my holding weight was probably 14.8 pounds, 15 pounds. And I feel like as much as I've been shooting, that was just not enough holding weight. So I started playing with stuff, and I'm shooting a TRX 38, and I have the 80% mods on there. So I put speed knocks actually where my draw stops hit on the cables, and it put me up to 17.2 pounds, which was like 73% let off, perfect.
Yeah.
And it felt really good. I know my dot. I'm shooting a dot indoors now
Because you have Indiana State coming up.
Indiana State this weekend. And I noticed that it just, when I went up to that 17 pounds, it really just settled that dot down. I could pull into it harder. Don't really notice up and downs or anything when I'm pulling into it. So that's what I'm going to stick with for a while and see what it does.
And you'll run that in Foley as well as Indiana State.
Yep.
Or not Foley, but Georgia.
Yep, I'm going to keep it exactly the same, keep everything the same across the board. That way I don't have to change the feel of things
Yeah.
from tournament to tournament.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. I don't have any other archery tournament related questions.
So while we're talking about Foley, let's get into some results.
We can
there.
recap some of the results for those of you who would like to know. I'll just pick a couple classes. And once...
Hold on, before we get there. You shot your first ASA in a couple years.
I did.
How did it go?
It went really well for what it was. I shot known 45. I shot 22 up, 10 up the first day, 12 up second day.
Man, that bar is packing.
I know. I
Tonight,
feel like
isn't
we need to go over there and do a live podcast or something
A lot of
later.
bikers over there.
But
A lot of noise today.
a lot of Harleys. Well, it's 65 degrees out right now in
Yeah.
March. So, but I shot well. I shot as good as I possibly. That's the highest score I was going to post. I told these guys this on the way home. Stamina was what got me. I mean, I come in here and shoot 10, 15 arrows a morning, and that's it. You know, I've been practicing, but nowhere near what you need to be doing in order to compete. And the first day, I thought I was prepared, went down there. If it was 35 yards and in, no problem. Problem is we only had 2 targets. Anything past 40, my sight tape wasn't even close. I was adding yards, taking yards away. I'm pretty sure I do a trigonometry problem on one target. It ended up being to where if it was between 40 and 43, I didn't add any yardage, just put it on the number, and then held left or right side, called upper. Worked great. Picked up a couple. If it's past 43, it's a Hail Mary. Who knew? I'm not holding good enough right now from 2 years of not shooting to know, okay, well, was it a good shot? Was it a bad call on the yardage holdover? But I finally got smart. Like Hunter didn't check his rest. I'm thinking, why not just take 2 yards out of my sight tape? Well, I did this with 6 targets left and hit the last 5. So it worked out good. And then Sunday, started out like a champion. Some wonderful lady from the steak over gave me some brisket tacos.
Oh, that
because they
sounds
bought
awesome.
too many. And so I was like, this day is going to be awesome. I hit the first 5 of 7 12s. I'm like, here we go. And then my arms turned to jello. So I was literally at full draw, and I'm just sitting there, and my arm just starts quivering. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And just from there,
She spiked your tacos?
that's why I asked her. She said no. And the guy she was with said, you might be careful. You might go to the hospital and check. But she said no. So I got to take her word for it. They were delicious tacos. But just my arms were dead. Never thought I would do well. But walking back from the booth, because we had the booth there, so I'm there all day, up early, walking, I don't know, we probably had a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile walk to a range.
It's nothing like the beach walk this guy went on.
No, well, but he's clearly a pro.
Right.
So
I'm built up for that.
he's
type
built
of
for those kind of
activity.
walks.
He went on the beach just holding his bow like
Yeah,
this the whole
this
time.
is how I practice.
Just holding my bow out for hours at a time and walk around.
I heard some people, honestly, to build it up, will sit and watch TV and just hold their bow up to train their arm.
Somebody,
Like a
hours.
Chance bow F
I think
thing.
someone said Chance holds milk jugs out or something like this.
Dumbbells or something. Yeah.
I'll ask Tyler if he knows. But yeah, so it went well. I had a blast. It was so cool seeing a lot of the people. I saw Chris Cape that I haven't seen forever, Barry Langston, awesome dudes. It was a blast.
You didn't go live from the podcast.
No, I was
like
going to
you were
go
supposed
live, but we didn't have an opportunity, and I'm going to try to do it again in Fort Benning. But it was really fun. Glad to be back. Liked it more than I thought I would.
That's good.
So that makes it a little bit more exciting. I came home, changed some stuff on my bow, trying to shoot more. Added a bunch of weight to my stabilizers, trying to build up some stamina. Don't know that I'll shoot that at Fort Benning, but we're trying. We're going to try to get there. But I did make a check. So out of all the group of us that go that know each other, there was 7 or 8 of us.
7 or 8.
All right.
This guy,
Throw some names out there.
only guy. So let's see. Jason Meyer,
Yeah.
A class, didn't do no good.
Oh,
Hunter,
yeah.
known pro, didn't do no good.
No.
Good.
Tyler Sweat, Drew Kenny, no good. Who else were we there with? Quentin Taylor,
Lou.
Clinton.
known 50. I don't
I don't
remember
think-
what his score was, so I can't give him a.
I think it was he
Lou
missed. He
and
missed
Coop.
2
Okay.
targets though
Oh, that's right. He had something break on him, didn't he? No, he misset his sight.
Misset his sight.
He misset his
I
sight,
think
so he
twice.
gets a double poop.
Double one.
Coop and Lou. Lou had a great second day, but a poopy first day. Coop, I don't know what happened to him.
He was having.
Oh, but your boy Joby made the shoot off.
Joby did make the shoot off. That was cool to see.
He did shoot well.
And I will have to give a shout out to a kid I shot with in Known 45. So we'll start covering scores. Go Known 45 first. Nate Wilkins, I think is his name.
Yep.
First ever ASA. Comes from Colorado. Right? So he's telling us this story on the first target. Nathan Wilkin is what they have him in here. We called him Nate. Young kid, 16 years old, I think. Says, I'm Nate, blah, blah, blah. Super excited. Doesn't know anything about ASA. Clearly, you could tell. I mean, he knows a little bit, but just enough to show up and shoot at the right time. Dude is a beast.
Yeah.
He won Lancaster in the kids division, shot 58 of 60 X's. I mean, that's stupid. You know how hard that is to do in a year.
It's hard.
Then he proceeds. This is why this class will be dominated. And Known 50 and soon Known Pro will be dominated by kids from the ages 16 to 22. He's killing it. He's like, it looks like a hole in the left side of the 12. Boom, 12. Just destroying it. 12 after 12 after 12. We get to like 5 or 6 targets in.
So he was in your shooting?
Yeah,
club?
he was in my group. We get 5 or 6 targets in. He sets his sight, and he boom, shoots a 5. Misset his sight. Greatest attitude I've ever seen. Well, that sucks. Moves on. We get to... No, sorry. Wrong guy. That was the other kid, 16-year-old kid I shot with. I can't remember his name. I'll figure it out. Nate, feel so bad for him. Nate finishes 10 up. Okay?
Day one.
We're on target 19, Fox, 44.5 yard, or Coyote, 44.5 yards. Nose is touching the ground. So I get up there. I'm the first shooter, of course, because I let off 4 times. Not one target was under 44 yards. So the 12 is leaned way forward. So there's no way. And I'm shooting with my sight tape crap all whatever. And this is where I'm like, all right, I figured it out. Smash the upper 12. So Nate.
Did you call upper?
I did. So Nate, being as good a shooter as he is, had a perfect aiming point in his 12. Know the number. No reason he's not going to hit this 12 because he's hitting everything. Gets up there. Shot fires. Arrow lands 10 yards in front of the target. The previous target we just shot was like 32 yards. Never set his sight. And he literally goes, well, that sucks. I mean, if you did that, I did that. 99% of archers, they're killing themselves inside. They're freaking out. He had the best attitude I've ever seen about that. And that right there tells me that kids like that, if they can maintain that attitude, will kill it. Now, here's what sucks for him. He shoots a 12 on that target and a 12 on the next target. He shot a 12 on the next target to finish 10 up or something. Had he shot that coyote and shot a 12, he'd have been tied for the lead the first day. Go to day 2. He sets his sight wrong twice. 2 5s. 10 points. Had he not set his sight wrong, he'd have won the tournament.
Sounds like he has something to work on, though.
Well, he comes from, I think he said he comes from field archery or FIDA, so he uses a sight tape different than you and I. He's got his sight tape on his phone, corresponding to numbers and clicks and all this random stuff that I can't figure out. He knows how to do it, so I could see where the difference is. But his attitude throughout the whole day was so phenomenal. I guarantee it. You watch. I guarantee you Nate Wilkin will win a tournament this year. He's a super kid to shoot with. And I got to give the other kid, I got to remember his name. Hold on. He was Gavin McAllister from Florida. Another 16-year-old kid. These kids just flat shoot. There's no way. I mean, they're calling arrows with no binoculars. I can barely see with binoculars.
I started to say.
I mean, I don't know if my eyes are getting worse or theirs are getting better. But that was really fun. I saw some people on the range I haven't seen for a long time, Jason Blair. But I had a lot of fun shooting, and hopefully Fort Benning goes as well. I mean, I don't care what I shoot. I'm down there for fun and for the company. So obviously I'd like to do well. All right, so your winners in known 45. Oh my gosh, William.
You didn't practice this before the
No,
pod?
no, this is live on the air. William B is what we're gonna go with. William B. Bartusawizik from Wisconsin. I think BK3 Bob and Mike know him. So he shot 18 up first day, 22 up second day for 440. Colton Gibbs from Georgia, 220, 220. Dylan Childers from Alabama, 215, 218 for third. And then you have to check out the scores. Pick a class, Hunter. We'll
Let's go with Open B.
Open B. Let's see how Open B. And any name that I call on here, if you guys are watching this, send us a text message, email, comment. We'll get you on here and we'll do a podcast with you. We want to hear about your story at Foley and how it went. We'll figure out how to get you on here.
You can follow us on Facebook at Archery Round Table,
The Archery Round Table.
the Archery Round Table, on Instagram, or leave a comment in the YouTube video comments, and we'll get a hold of you. We also have an email at thearcheryroundtable@gmail.com.
Correct. Open B was won by another Wisconsin gentleman, Riley Sable. 417, that's a heck of a score. Jimmy Rhodes in second at 414. Randall Crane from North Carolina at 412. So good job, guys. All right, one more. Let's do one more class.
Bo Novice.
Bo Novice, or
That's my class.
as Justin likes
your
to call
crew.
it, Pro Novice.
It's because he's a...
All right.
He's the only. I mean, he's a.
Ooh,
one.
look at them scores. Jordan Gray of Ohio, 22 up first day, 20 up second day, 442.
Those aren't my guys anymore.
No.
Shock
Jeff
you
Grubb from Kentucky, 214 and 222. Great second day score, 436. And then we had a tie at second with Ryan Mundell from Pennsylvania, 214 and 222 at 436. Phew. Man, them are some scores, aren't they? And they had, Bo Novice only had 46 shooters. Didn't it used to be a whole bunch more?
I have no idea.
What class is the big class now?
Big class.
Like, wasn't like Open B
K40's got a ton, from what I remember.
K40 does?
Like, I think when I shot it, there was 180 something shooters, 175 in K40.
Known 50 has 86.
Yeah.
Let's check this real quick. We'll do one more. What did you say, Known 40?
Yeah, known 40, I think, has got a 100. Well, I don't know now, but I think it had like 180.
Yeah, because I
last year.
remember someone saying, like,
Because they were going to actually have to run two different ranges or run them both at, like, the two ranges at the same time. That way they could actually have everyone shoot.
so Known 40, 138.
So
Known 45 had 136, so right there.
those are probably your two biggest ones.
Yeah. So awesome. So, yeah, if you guys heard your name called or if you did it good in any ASA class and you just want to talk with us, get a hold of us. We'd love to have you on here. We'll be set up to take phone calls Friday. So you should have seen the guy that just ran into the bar.
I saw that.
saw him come out.
Impressive.
Very.
You can't tell me Bob Marley's still not alive.
Well,
After that.
yeah.
Anyways, call us, get a hold of us, whatever. I'm done with target archery unless you've got anything. I can't think of anything. We'll transition over to the hunting side of Hunter Phillips with Rusty Miller.
This
at
might be
the Archery
this
Round
might
Table.
be a bad side to talk about.
Do you
Well,
want to?
after this year?
Do you want to? Well,
Well, this might go on for 3 hours.
there's that too.
We'll
I
make
would-
it short. How many deer did you kill this year? How many bucks?
Hey, when
One.
you trophy hunt,
Yeah,
you don't always tag out there, hot rod.
and that is very true.
Now, what's more entertaining is, do you want to give out your Instagram handle for your yours and Justin's joint account?
That actually got shut down.
Did it?
Yeah, that got shut down. That died a long time ago.
What?
Yeah, it might still be up. I don't even remember what it is, but
Oh, sure.
I really don't. Yeah, so
No, but you do your fair share of doe management every year, right?
I mean, when it comes down to it, I love antlers. I love getting my hands on a big old deer that, I've worked really hard to.
I mean, you were
kill it.
chasing some monsters this year.
I was chasing some good ones. Never saw those good ones, but
And you hunted hard. I
Yeah.
mean,
every day.
I mean, I don't know how many days you'd come in here early and try to get out before it's too late to hunt, or come in late because you're hunting in the morning. Is almost every single day. You're in
Every
the
single
woods.
day I was hunting either the morning or the evening or both
Yeah.
at some point. It's just this year was really rough. We did have EHD come through in our area. Can't 100% confirm that we had that on our farm, but we found something like in between 15 and 20 deer dead in September. So we found two. Chances are it was EHD, but we couldn't get any confirmed cases because if you have a deer that you suspect has EHD, it has to be tested either right at the end of its life, like it's getting ready to die, or within like 12 hours or something of it dying. So after it's been sitting there in the hot sun in September for 24 hours, they can't test them anymore. So that's why we couldn't get any of them tested. But I mean, I had two really nice bucks that we found dead, and one of them I would have definitely shot. The other one I probably would have let him walk. But so that was hard. Food was a problem this year. We had a ton of acorns, which on my farm, that's all I have is acorns. So the deer are very spread out.
Is that different than acorns?
Acorns. There's a lot of
Acorns are higher in protein.
Oh, okay, good.
mine were acorns.
Acorns?
Acorn.
Acorn.
Yeah, you got to have that southern.
Acorn?
Acorn. Something like that.
Acorns.
But yeah, so that made it hard. The deer were spread out. Now, once it got later in the season,
Is it more of an E in acorn?
Acorn? No, we're not from like New York or something. Acorn.
How are your acorns?
I think that's Minnesota.
Can you do it in a British accent?
I can't do British accents.
Sounds like you're from acorns.
Okay.
No, okay, sorry. Go ahead. Back on track.
But in November, in the rut and after the rut ended, things got a little better. Started seeing a lot more deer because the neighbor has a giant cornfield.
Hey.
And when they cut that thing
Is
down,
it a cornfield?
it's a cornfield.
That's different.
Yeah.
Is that different than an acorn field? Did I get it right?
I think so, something like that. But when they cut the corn, they got it out really late this year because there was so much rain in October and November. It was really hard for them to get the corn out. But when they got it out, I'm pretty sure all the deer moved into that cornfield like right before it got cut because we stopped seeing deer there for like 2 weeks. Cut it. I couldn't go over there and not sit there and see 10 every time. But so it got better there towards the end of November, beginning of December. We started seeing some better bucks. My dad actually missed what he says would have been his second biggest deer the day I got back from Nebraska.
I seriously, I wanted to get into that too. I know it was a gun hunt.
Yeah. Not to interrupt real quick, but my wife says you owe $15 for Girl Scout cookies and wanted me to remind you.
I need those. Those actually sound really good right now.
Now I can say, now I have video evidence that I've told you.
Yep, you have
and
told
I can't
me.
be in trouble.
Yep. You got to get Lily her $15.
Yes.
There's some reward she's getting for that. But so, yeah, we
Is
started.
that on your keto diet?
Yes. Oh, I forgot. You set me up.
Oh, yeah.
You set me up. But, yeah, my dad missed that big deer. I started seeing some really.
Can't do a podcast anywhere. Chuck.
No.
Chuck's leaving, I think.
Bye, Chuck.
Bye, Chuck. So,
Sorry we had a random guest walk through.
Yep. But so deer hunting got better towards the end of the year than at the beginning of the year. I did try to kill a deer with a recurve at the beginning of the year.
How'd that go?
I
noticed you used to try.
I took it October 1st, which is opening day of deer season here in Indiana.
And it was 95 degrees.
Sweating,
I know, I was in
it
the
was
tree
terrible. But I saw like 20-something deer.
too. Oh, I didn't see anything all day.
Yeah, that was
8 hours.
Yeah,
Nothing.
The first day of.
You were out all day.
Always.
You're crazy. I don't know why you would hunt all day October 1st.
Yeah.
Because it's October 1st.
Daylight, dark.
You can tell
It's
he's
always
new to
dark.
hunting.
Yeah. But
That's- I mean, I love the drive, but
yeah,
Took a 2
Props
hour
to
break
you.
for lunch and a little bit of a nap. But
Bathroom
yeah, I
breaks
mean,
and-
I was in the woods the whole time.
Yeah.
Or in the. I didn't go home. How's
hey,
that?
props to you.
I mean,
buddy.
yeah.
You
That's,
want
I
me-
wish I had the drive for hunting like that.
It didn't. didn't pan out, so I could have been sitting on my couch.
No, but
So you also hunted with something else this year for the first time.
what was that?
Your gun we built.
Oh yeah, my AR.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
Even
an
though it's an archery podcast, I'm not one of those
round table.
archers that you can't shoot a gun.
No, yeah, I mean, I bow hunt, I gun hunt, I muzzleload hunt. I mean, if I can kill a deer with it, I'm gonna do it at some point. Like, I've killed a deer.
You even tried to hunt one with a crossbow, is that correct?
I have not hunted a deer with a crossbow.
Haven't crossed that line yet?
Nope, the crossbow is the only legal weapon I have not killed a deer with in Indiana. I've killed a deer with pistol, shotgun, pistol caliber rifle, large caliber rifle, high-powered rifle. Did I say pistol?
Yeah.
Okay,
Twice.
Did
yeah.
you say a
Yeah.
recurve? Because did you get it
Well,
job done?
that's just the archery.
Oh.
That's
Man.
covered under archery, apparently.
Yeah, because that's a hard bear to tackle. Because opening day of deer season on October 1st this year, had about 18 of them walk under me at about 11 yards, and that went badly, and all the deer were laughing at me by the time it was over with.
Were they just like, come on, man?
No, they literally didn't even. They just kept eating. They were all standing under me, and I'm like, I'm just gonna hang my bow up.
How
now.
many arrows did you fling?
I don't know.
All of them?
Every one of them I had with me. I think I took 5 with
I was
me.
going to say, I know you had at least 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think I took 4 or 5. But yeah, never touched one. Figured out that a 60-inch bow from a climbing tree stand in a pine tree, and they're straight under you, is very difficult.
You were probably better off trying to spear one.
Oh, if I had a spear, I'd have killed one. I could have just dropped it. Dead deer. So, but yeah, I did. I built an AR this year, 450 Bushmaster.
Which we found out kicks like a mule.
Yeah, the first deer I killed with that, it really killed the deer good and split my forehead wide open.
Which is funny because you're no rookie to shooting. We've shot thousands of rounds, and
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot.
just would never expect that to happen to someone like you. And then you tell me about it; it's like the greatest day.
Oh yeah, I mean it's funny. Like I enjoy that stuff. You know, I've been around guns just as long as I've been around bows, so I have a very large passion for both of them. But yeah, I mean I've shot every gun caliber you can pretty much think of, and that was the first time it's actually ever drawn blood.
Now, didn't you do it twice this year? Somebody else's gun?
No, I did. Well, on my deer in Nebraska, my mule deer. When I shot that, I'm shooting a very, very hot load out of my muzzleloader, and scope whacked me right in the forehead. Didn't draw blood, but did hit me very hard. Which, I mean, in the heat of the moment and weird angles, you know, both of those deer actually that I hit myself on, I was in very weird angles when I shot. So it's not, you know, you're just, you know, sitting on a bench where it's not gonna, you know, black your eye. But, hey, both of them died. Got both
Hey.
of them.
Yeah, that's all that matters, right?
So are you gonna ask me about this Nebraska story?
No, I mean, he just basically.
Oh no, I want no.
You need a full rundown on
So-
Nebraska.
I work with Hunter on a daily basis.
You do?
Yes. Well, he pretends to do some work in here while I'm doing all the work out there.
Yeah, that's how it works.
So
Leave
for-
a comment in the comments below if who you believe on that one.
For like a week straight, we're going to Nebraska. We're driving. We're leaving as soon as I get off work. We're driving. We're staying in a tent.
Well, it was like 12 degrees.
Yeah.
It was colder than that.
So you get out there
Yeah.
and I get pictures. We're like snowed in on a mountain.
Yeah, the first day. I
Okay,
mean,
first of all, I've got the pictures to prove it. We'll show you the pictures.
yeah, it's,
These are like
Producer Jay.
producer Jay will put these pictures up. They're foothills of the mountains that
I'm
are
telling
more
you,
like a rolling mound.
you weren't there. It wasn't the Rocky Mountains, but they were very, very large mountain-like hills. We'll put it that way.
So did you guys even set the tent up?
No, never even got it unpacked.
So you drove 16 hours out
18.
there. 18 hours out there. And you left here right after you got off work? Is that right? Do I remember
We
right?
left here at 5 p.m.
So you left here at 5 p.m., drove 18 hours out there. No hotel reservations.
Nothing.
You're hunting on public ground. Just said, screw it. Let's go. Here we go. Get out there and decide it's too cold to shack up in a tent with. Who'd you go with, Tyler?
Yep, Tyler Maddox went out there, and this was his
Let's just say what it was winter, right? Like
December
Yeah.
14th.
Yeah, it's mid-December. Yeah, right before Christmas.
Yeah, it was cold. But yeah,
You do realize it does get cold and windy in Nebraska.
The windy, definitely. It got cold, really cold, dangerously cold. One morning we had to quit hunting because it was so dangerous.
And you guys thought you were going to stay in a tent.
Yeah, we thought we could do it.
So preparation was not done.
No,
Were
honestly,
you guys just gonna cuddle for body heat?
if it came down to it, I wouldn't be afraid to. I'd rather have to cuddle and take my man pride.
Could we call this one Brokeback Hill since you guys were snowed in on the hills?
It was a mountain, but that's cool.
Were you the little spoon?
Yeah, I love getting a little spoon. That's fine. Don't bother me.
Being 5'2", it's hard not to be.
Yeah, I'm always the little one. So I'm 5'7". Actually, I don't want people to think I'm 5'2".
Oh,
He's sitting on a stool.
he's got a folding chair on 2x4 blocks to get him this tall.
Yeah, I
His
couldn't see over
feet
the
dangle from the folding chair.
But yeah, so when we went to Nebraska, we actually were prepared. We were very prepared. We had the
To what? Not stay in a tent?
No, we were prepared to stay in a tent, but we'll get to why we didn't stay in a tent in a minute. So we go out there. We have all the necessities. We got heaters. We got 40 below sleeping bags. We're prepared. We got this. We get out there. We just drove 18 hours. I think we showed up there. If we left at 5 p.m., whatever that is, the next day, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that.
Yeah.
Still got like 4 hours of daylight left. And we're sitting there. If, we were actually the responsible Western hunter that older people who have done it a lot would do, they would set up camp. Be the smart thing to do. I'm sitting here, just drove 18 hours, and I got a mule deer tag, and I'm sitting on public land, and there's a hill there with mule deer on it, and I got a muzzleloader. I'm going to go kill deer.
Yeah.
We
No
all-
chance you did anything but went right to the...
No,
I mean, if you kill it, you just throw it in the truck and head back home, right? No need to get the tent out.
we almost did. So, we literally
Is
parked
that
the truck.
one of the three that you missed?
No, I didn't miss. I didn't miss that day. I didn't even pull the
That
trigger. I only missed one day in a 20-minute period and killed one. So,
Oh, there you go.
but yeah, the first day we hop out of the truck, go up the hill, and I was going to let Tyler shoot first since this was his grand idea, which I thought was not a good idea from the start because neither of us have really hunted out west in really harsh conditions. We both hunted out west, but it's been in September for both of us, and it's just it's not real cold. December out west is really cold, but we did it anyway. And first day, as soon as we parked the truck, we actually saw 2 really nice mule deer, big ones, especially for public land, 140s, 150-inch mule deer. First one was at 130 yards, and he didn't shoot it. I still yell at him about it today because it was a really nice mule deer, and he's like, man, there's got to be bigger ones in here if it was this quick. Sure enough, there's not anyone in there that are bigger that I could find. And then 20 minutes later, we actually found another one, the next ravine of the hill, mountain over, that was even bigger than that one. And I had him at 315 yards. And with the conditions and with the muzzleloader, that's a long ways. And he ran off, and then it took me 5 more days until I finally found one I could shoot at. Or wanted to shoot at. I guess I could shot a bunch of
So
them.
I'm waiting to hear why you guys didn't stay in the tent.
Yeah, the tent.
Because it was cold.
Well, when we got up the mountain, when we saw the 2 big mule deer the first day, it was partially sunny when we got there, and we get up to the top of the mountain, and hill, mountain, whatever you want to call it, don't matter. And after we had those 2 encounters with those big mule deer, it just all of a sudden came a snowstorm like you wouldn't believe. It snowed probably 4 or 5 inches in like no time. And
Did you guys have to go back down to base camp?
No, there was no going down the hill at that point in time. You couldn't see more than 50 yards. Like you don't even know which direction you're walking. So, and of course we didn't,
No compasses,
no compass, no
GPS.
GPS. We're just like, it's just a hill over there, mountain.
Now it's a hill.
We'll go up it, and
It's a hill when you're on the way down, a mountain on the way up. huh?
I'm saying hill to appease you right now.
Oh no, if it's a mountain, it's a mountain.
It's a mountain, 100%. But so we're sitting up there, and it got so bad we actually got under a cedar tree and rode it out, and it kind of stopped just a little bit before dark and hoofed it back to the truck. But when we got back to the truck and started looking at, temperatures and everything,
the forecast.
the forecast,
The four.
it's not the forecast.
It's
we're-
the present cast.
the present cast of how cold is it getting ready to be. It was supposed to be 6 degrees that night,
Oh.
Wow.
And 4 inches of snow.
4
on the
inches of
ground.
snow and still coming, more. So we decided to look at hotels, and we found a hotel that was 3 miles away for $33 a night, and it had 4-star rating. Called the. Honestly, I don't remember what it's called now, but it was actually a pretty nice hotel. Warm, hot shower, comfy bed.
So you stayed in that for 5 nights?
Stayed in that for 6 nights, actually, I think. Maybe 7. We stayed out there even after we both killed our mule deer. We stayed out there like an extra 2 days just to, why not, go see some cool things. So,
Well, doesn't hurt that you fell in love with a bartender.
Yeah, we've been hearing about this for.
she
Since
was
December.
she was an awesome lady. She was great.
What part were you in? Western Nebraska?
Yeah, all, like
So
3
you were-
miles from Wyoming.
So I'm reading an interesting little snippet here.
What's that?
In the elevated high plains
Where the mountain is.
of western Nebraska stands the state's highest point.
That's where I was at.
It is not a mountain after all, but rather an elevated rise of pasture land.
We will show pictures.
We'll,
to
we'll, we'll
prove.
check the pics.
Yeah,
We'll
I'll
check
show you
tape.
pictures, and then you tell me that those canyons aren't mountain canyons.
The pictures were really cool. You sent me some really cool looking pictures. And
Yeah.
I bet it was a blast, regardless of hill or mountain or.
We'll have you back to tell the story of the actual kill, because that's a fun one, and
Yeah.
show some pictures and things like that. But this one's getting a little out of control, so
I told you didn't want to go down this road, slippery slope.
I'm with you. I like it. But so if you notice, we're at yet another set. We are having our studio built, and it should be ready in about 3 weeks.
I'm hoping if everything goes as planned, I would say 3 weeks. So probably a few more episodes like this, depending on schedules and time. But a few more, and then hopefully keep your fingers crossed. We're getting all kinds of new high tech equipment.
Yeah.
None of us know how to operate it, so that will be awesome. Be a learning curve. You'll probably get an entire podcast of our lips moving with no sound.
We should
Kinda
just
funny.
like dub it like a
Yeah, like
foreign
old
movie.
kung fu movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Just have Hunter narrate what we say
The whole thing.
time.
We can do it. We can try it.
We'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
What kind of corns were they?
Acorns.
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 Acorn.
Acorns.
Like
Is
a
it-
kern.
A kern.
Like colonel. Like
Colonel
corn kernel?
Sanders?
Yeah.
A kernel.
A kernel. A kern.
A kern.
Acorn.
A kern.
We're off the rails. See you next time.
Acorn?
Acorns. So is it creek or crick?
Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yellow or yeller?
Depends on the situation.
Yellow.
If I'm answering the phone, it's yellow.